Most people from my past would probably find it hard to believe what I've been through in life, where I was in life and where I am now in life. You see, I was always told as a young kid that God had his hand on me and that he wanted to use me to reach his children. But you see, when I made it to college, it was the first time that I really had the chance to explore life on my own and live it to the fullest. Drinking and partying became so easy because I pledged and joined a fraternity. Smoking marijuana and eventually exploring ecstasy, it led me to becoming more and more curious of other drugs. I would eventually make my way to cocaine. You see, I started doing so much cocaine that I needed to sell cocaine to keep my habit satisfied. I even smoked a form of crack cocaine during this time. My life was a mess. You see, what kept me sane was writing music. But there was a deep hole in my heart that no amount of money, love from women, friends, alcohol could ever fill. But I kept trying to fill it with more and more of these things. And after college, I moved to Florida as my music career was gaining momentum. I was still heavily involved with cocaine. I was still selling crack and snorting powder cocaine. But you see, in the summer of 2007, the Rock Church in Tampa Bay came to my neighborhood to bring the love of Jesus Christ to his children. And honestly, at that time, I didn't want nothing to do with it. I took the free food and I started to leave. But there was a man by the name of Brian Bergee that refused to let me leave without praying for me first. And at the end of 2007, Christmas Eve to be exact, I started on a binge of doing cocaine that lasted 15 days. A friend told me that I needed to go to church and that he would take me to one. God had a plan. Eyes bloodshot red and being so exhausted on life, on January 6th, I walked into the Rock Church of Tampa Bay and gave my life to the Lord for the first time. Immediately, my exhaustion was gone. My eyes cleared up to snow white, and I felt what love is for the first time. True love. I felt like I was floating. I was washed clean from drugs and alcohol and using women as well. I was free from the bondage of addiction. But the story isn't over. I stayed clean for 3 years straight and life was wonderful. I met my best friend Nicole, who became my wife. Life was so great. After we got married, I found out that I would need to have 2 hip replacement surgeries due to a disease I developed as a child. The doctor started me on pain pills, strong pain pills, and it was starting all over again. Addiction. But God has a plan. Things got really, really bad. And as most of the world knows, there's a real epidemic going on right now with people ODing from narcotic pain pills along with heroin. You see, I started injecting my pain pills. I started injecting them so much, I felt like this was all my life was going to be. I started to run away from God more and more and only please myself in the process. And I didn't care about the consequences. You see, GJ3 is the story of my encounters with life through this process. 6 years and 8 total hip replacement surgeries later. And because our God is faithful, I can stand here today not being ashamed to speak about the things that I went through and admit that I had a problem. And I knew that if I surrendered my problem fully to God, that he would take it away and walk step by step with me through the process. In these past surgeries, I was left without a right hip. And I would say for myself, I walk pretty well for someone without a hip. I'm a walk-in miracle. God has restored my marriage, and it's the best it's ever been, and it's getting better. I've been pain pill free and narcotic free for over 15 months and counting now. Our God is faithful always. I hope my testimony has moved upon your heart. You see, this album, GJ3, is my living testimony. It's my living testimony of what God has done in my life and what I've gone through and where God is leading me. So if you have the time, click the link below. It'll lead you to where you can download my music online and listen for yourself. Because if he could do it for me, he could do it for you. God bless.